Camille Bruyas, we are 24 hours, less than 24 hours removed from the 2024 Hardrock 100. How are you feeling before your first Hardrock?
Hi, thanks for coming. Hi, Dylan. I'm fine. Hopefully, yes, because the start line it will be soon.
You've been here for about 2 weeks. We're going to talk about your season, your training, your experience on the course, your impressions of Hardrock so far. But first, I would love to start with just a quick introduction. We haven't talked much, you and I. This is the first time you're really appearing on the Freetrail channel. So maybe just introduce yourself to our audience, say a few words about where you're from, your history with the sport, things like that.
Yeah, I heard podcast of Freetrail just to improve my English, It's nice, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm come from France. I live now 30 minutes from Annecy in the mountain, so not far from Chamonix and UTMB Loop. I'm 31 years old. I ran my first 100 miles was on 2018 on Réunion Island, Diagonale des Fous. So yeah, and it will be my 100 miles because I did only one per year. For me, it's enough. It's a big challenge every year, but yeah. And I love training in 100K distances and races. But adventure on 110 miles is nice too.
Yeah, awesome. And you're a physio and a yoga instructor too. I wanted to ask you about yoga especially because I think in my career, my brother's a yoga instructor and I used to have a consistent practice with it. And I always felt like a much stronger, more durable, resilient athlete when I was practicing consistently. Say a few words about that part of your career.
Yeah, I'm physio since 12 years now. Wow. So, yeah, I explore a lot physiotherapists in France. And when I'm becoming more a runner, I did 10 years of basketball, team sports. So when I start to running as a trail running, I discover it's sport. I have many patients on my office who are injured with marathon, with running things, because it's a sport you are always doing the same thing, and your body is always tight. It's you have to do mobility and you have to stretch, not to be a dancer, but just to stay in your body. If you don't do nothing year after year, your body for sure will be super, super, super tight. Mm-hmm. So compared to my physio job, it was super interesting to see that yoga improve. I start for me, but after on my patients, during my work, I explore this with the runner because I saw many runners who are injured. So I decided to give yoga lesson to the runner, to the sportsman, woman, just because it's a balance between the sports and the body. And first, it was with my physio job. I decided to include yoga for my job, and after I realized with my athlete life, it just makes sense. Yeah. Both of the activities.
Yeah. What about the emotional, spiritual element to it too? Because I always felt also when I had a consistent practice that there's a grounding element to the yoga practice. Obviously, there's a big philosophical component to it also. The breath is very important. Is that something that you've felt also translate to your running career?
Yeah, I try. But it's first you have to for the runner more, but I did some yoga lesson to the professional of cyclists in many sports. For me, it's better to start yoga, but I think it's not the same in US, because I saw really different culture. But in France and maybe in Europe, yoga, it's more you are in your yoga mat and you do nothing, and the people who are running say it's super shit, the thing. So I always heard about that, it's super shit, your thing, it's yoga, you do nothing,
boring,
you just have to breathe. And I say, no, it's not that. So first I gave lesson with the body, with mobility, with stretching, and after they understand it's more yoga, it's more like that. Mm-hmm. It's so much more just posture and just mobility. Yeah. So and when I have time during, for example, 1 week of stage of running, I start to do more posture, but I include breath first, and day after day they understand it's more than just a posture. So you include the breath, you include just 3 minutes of sort of meditation, you know. It could be before a race, it could be visualization of the race, or in ultra trail it's super interesting. But it could be also just do nothing during 2 minutes, just no look your watch, no look nothing. And yes, for me it's important to how do you say transmission of this, because for the new generation, the young generation, they arrive in the sports with high level, high expectation. They are super stressful, so they understand for the injury it's nice, but they also understand to know how breath, to know how you can, I can take 2 minutes a day without thinking about my coach, about my training, I think for longer career it's super important. So I really want to work on this. Yoga, it's not only for women who are long sleeve with leggings and do nothing on the yoga mat, I think more for the young generation in sports, high level, it's super important to say you have to balance your sports. You can't do every day at your maximum, super stressful, super. So it's a.
Well, thanks so much for sharing so much about it. It's really interesting to me. Maybe Sunday morning, if you're feeling good, you come over, you get Ryan, Harmony, and I will all get in mountain pose and do a little yoga. Anyway, well, let's talk about your season quickly. You are off to a very strong start. You won both Peñagolosa 110K in Spain and the Maxi race, very close to your home in Annecy. Say anything you want about those two performances, how they set you up for Hardrock.
Yeah, it's last year was super complicated for me because I need a surgery, so I wanted to be back on Diagonal du Fou, but I knew I was not prepared as I want, but it was okay to finish these races. But this year I'm feel for sure super better than last year. So for me, it's just I'm lucky to did this race well, to how do you say, validate the race, and so for sure I'm more confident for the Hardrock because each step was validated. So it's nice. Yeah,
so you feel more confident coming off of your surgery and your injury that you're ready to go back to the very hard 100 milers again, where you've been very successful. Let's talk about that in a second. But first, you've been here in Colorado now for 2.5 or 3 weeks. You've done the soft rock. I'd love to hear you talk about that. And also, it seems that there's a fun little friendship and camaraderie with Ludo and Marianne Hogan, obviously Francois as well. So talk about your experience being here in the U.S. and sharing it with your friends and teammates.
Yeah, it was so nice because for me to share more training with people I like, it's super important for me. When you prepare a race like this, you have to take pleasure in the preparation. If you are always training without pleasure, for me, during the race, I don't know how to explain in English, but you have to. It's more present to be all the preparation on your. I prepare this preparation with my friend and I say, okay, I don't want to do the soft rock alone. And so it was super nice for me. All what happened before the hard rock was perfect. So you just have to race and your head is more, how do you say, it's more safe for you. And So yeah, with Ludo and after the team Salomon, it's nice. We have François and Courtenay. So yeah, I prefer to share many things with the team.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky because Maya Nogan will pace me 80K. So yeah, it's big. It's a big preparation for her too. And she decided to didn't do a race. For example, 90K of Mont Blanc or Lavaredo, which everyone do a race at the end of June for UTMB because she will race UTMB. So yeah, for me, I'm so lucky to have her during all the preparation, during all the race, and yeah, for her it's a project for UTMB. So yeah, it's super nice.
So fun. I'd love to hear your impressions of the course and the spirit and environment around Hardrock. I was speaking with Simone, the French photographer, yesterday, and we were talking about the similarities and differences between UTMB, Diagonal des Fous, Hardrock. You've been to Western States before. So talk a little bit about, like doing the soft rock. What were your impressions of the course? And then also, since you've been here for 3 weeks, you've probably gotten a sense of the Hardrock community. I'm sure the audience would love to hear you talk about both.
Yeah, the big difference compared to the other races, not Western States, but US races, compared to Europe, it's the start line. We are only 100 people, and it's super. For me, it's super important to balance between start line with 3,000 people. You are middle of nothing. It's completely crazy at the start. It's nice, but for me, I prefer when you have nobody, when you are alone in the mountain, when you are just enjoying trails and nature. And so it's the big difference. Also the pacer for sure. And I always said, because we were joking about that, because my crew, my friend who is screening me, he's doing the start of Hardrock and search a bridge across the river. Say, I didn't see anything. I don't understand where you passed. Say, no bridge here. You pass through the river. Every time, everywhere on the race, you have your foot on the river. But in France, we have beautiful bridge in each river. So it's more nature. It's more included in the mountain. You have no superficial thing. So. Yeah, that's a big difference too. And you have also dirt road, for example, before Ure, long way. So you have many differences with the races more in Europe, I think.
Yeah. Compare it specifically to Diagonal des Fous, because I went and did the Grand Raid in 2021 after I did Hardrock. And I suffered so bad at the Grand Raid. But to me, there's sort of it's nice to do them both in the same season because there's a decent spacing between them. And also it's similar just in terms of the length, difficulty, how long it takes to complete. But the races are so different in a lot of ways too. You've been on the course. You obviously haven't started Hardrock yet. Tomorrow will be your first try, but you've done the Grand Raid a couple of times now. You just mentioned it a couple of times in our chat. As you think about the two races, do you feel like they're complementary at all?
Yeah, it could be, but for me it's different because I discovered trail running in United Island, so for sure. And you have more aid station in Diagonal des Fous, each 10K, I think. Here you have some part. It's super long without nothing. So it's a difference. I think the end of Diagonal des Fous for me it's more technical. more rocks, more some shit thing, and never ending until the last downhill, you know. So you can. I don't know what time I will do tomorrow on Hardrock, but I was thinking with Megan, and I think Hardrock it's maybe a little faster than Diagonal des Fous, but longer than UTMB. So it's in between.
Yeah. Where do you see your personal strengths right now as an athlete? Because to me, if I look at your career, you've been consistent across all different distances. But I mean, I even recall when you were second at UTMB, that was the first time when I really learned who you were. And it was because there was a lot of people who were more familiar with the French trail running scene who said, oh, you need to look out for Camille, and you had just won Lavaredo. And so it feels to me like your strengths are sort of in the longer distances. Do you feel that way yourself?
I don't know. I like to I think I'm not super strong in something, but I'm not super bad in something. You know, I'm just in the middle, trying to I love mountain races for sure. For example, to train for Western States was super hard for me. But I like the challenge. I like the adventure in 100 miles. So it's more an adventure than really a race super fast. But I really enjoy the 100K. For me, 100K, it's a distance I know, a distance I like to finish. It's one big day or one night, and like Lavaredo and the beginning of the day. 100 miles for me, it's always super, super hard, the last 50K. But I really want to explore this distance. So that's why I continue each year to do one of these distance, because I think experience make you stronger, and you learn a lot about you and every races. And I think if you did that, like François or Courtenay, since many, many, many years, 10 years, 15 years, they always learn about themselves. For example, tomorrow. So it's never ending, and I like this.
I was going to ask you about that too, and we can start winding down. Obviously, having spent time with Francois here, who has experience at Hardrock, and Courtney as well, are there any words of advice or things you've learned from them that you think will be helpful for you on the course tomorrow? Yeah,
we chair each year a camp with the Salomon team, so it's super nice to have them during year after year for each race. And for Hardrock, when I wanted to do soft rock, for example, I asked for, do you think it's a good idea or something like that, just to plan training or to train in altitude. So, if I would like to come 2 months ago, François said me, it's maybe a lot, so you can just come 3 weeks before. Maybe you will be tired. You know, in altitude, you spend more energy, so it could be long. And during the race, it's more for aid station, and here you can check water on the river or something like that. Not here. Here it will be super hot. Be careful, and this big could be a storm and some part of, and how to manage the pacing, because in Hardrock it's different compared to Western. You have other expectation with the navigation or something like that. So just say, okay, you have to manage this with your pacer or something like that. And share experience. No, it's super nice. Very, very cool. Maybe final question for you here. You mentioned that Marianne Hogan's going to be pacing you, but we were just talking to Katarina Hartmuth as well about, it is challenging when you come and race in a foreign country. So putting the team together that's going to be helping you out on the race course. Aside from Marianne Hogan, who else is going to be on your team tomorrow? Yeah, I'm super lucky. I have a big team. I have my parents too. Oh, great. Amazing. Marianne again, who spaced me. A friend of me with Physio is here since 2 weeks with crewing me, because my boyfriend couldn't come because he's working on Le Tour de France. So it's the first race
He's
without
working on
him.
the Tour de France?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So first year he's not here for 100 miles. I always travel with him. So we'll see what's happened. And yeah, my parents and Martina from the team will pace me until Cunningham at the end.
Martina Valmassoy.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So yeah, it's so nice to see many people around here and some French friends from France. So it's cool.
What a great team, and how special that you're able to share it with your parents as well, and they were able to make the trip.
Yeah.
Well, Camille, it's great to get to know you, and I appreciate you taking the time to come over and have a quick chat before you have to go to the runner briefing this afternoon. We will see you at the start line, and then we will also see you at Chapman because we'll be volunteering there
Okay, cool.
throughout the day tomorrow. So
Nice.
best of luck to you, and thanks for coming over.
Nice. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.